welcome back everyone to the Winter Rundown episode 161. Today it's just me and Nam. You know, we know that Dan told y'all a bunch of stuff last week about how he has a kid and stuff now, but don't believe him. That is just Big Dan corporations trying to misinform you.
Yeah, Dan's really out on the ski slope right now. He's hitting the slopes hard. He's ducking and weaving. He's going slaloming right through all the poles. He's having a grand old time. You just don't know it yet.
Until I see proof, I'm not believing a word this man says, because this is Big Dan propaganda.
You heard it here first, folks.
But I hope he's having a great time on the slopes. I know they got pounded a few times last week with the snow, so, or the week before or something like that, but he sounded like he was having a good time, so hope everything's going well up that way. But
it's not going too bad. It's not going too bad.
Yeah. But with that being said, make sure you follow us on all the socials, join our Discord if you want to talk to us. Linktree.com/anime Degens. Just letting y'all know that we do have these rundown videos on YouTube now. Because we got the videos and stuff going out since we're only doing one episode a week now. So we figured we'd bless y'all with what you're used to and give you our beautiful faces at least once a week still. So
it's the least we can do for you guys.
Yeah. They're only on YouTube though, because Spotify is being pretty whack. So with videos, they want to like DMCA still. So with the music and stuff, even though it's copyright free. So, but with that being said, we are going to be talking about Frieren season 2, episode 6 and 7, Jujutsu Kaisen season 3, episode 8 and 9, and Hell's Paradise season 2, episode 8 and 9 as well. We're getting close now. We're like almost to the finish line. We only got like 3/4 of the way through. More than that,
two
actually.
Two more rundown episodes.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, Frieren, I think we got like 3 more rundown episodes, but Frieren's only got like 2, maybe. So since it is shorter, it's coming to an end pretty soon. But when things come to the end like this, we just get more fun things coming around, I guess you could say. So
we say goodbye to the tales that we grew fond of, and we make way for new adventures to take place. Is what Tyler's trying to say.
Specifically One Piece. Yes.
Yes, the goat piece is coming back.
But with all that being said though, I guess let's talk about another great tale. One that's newer, the one that's not been around for 20 some years. Let's talk about Frieren season 2, episode 6, a demon slaying request. So this episode started off with like a group of demons attacking a village, and come to find out, it's actually Gino's hometown. And that's how I'm going to pronounce it, because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a weird name. But it's his hometown, and if you don't remember him, because I didn't, I had to look him up, and then like 5 minutes later, it told us who it was. But like I'm impatient, so he's actually one of the proctors, like the one of the people that like looked over the mage exams that Frieren and Fern and all of them was in. He's been a first class mage for a while, and like he's been sent up here to this his like village or whatever, because there's demons attacking it. And it's this hometown village too, which is pretty sad in my opinion. Especially since like the whole village pretty much died because like nobody could get there fast enough. I think that does like a really good job of showing just how like deadly and unforgiving the North Plateau truly is. Like if you choose to live out there, and something happens, there's a good chance that you won't get help, in time. So I thought it was pretty cool introduction to this episode. So
No, uh, it's just the way how they went about it was really unique. Um, Especially considering that I thought it was gonna go like the opposite, but instead it was just them meeting up.
yeah,
So
yeah. Uh, when this episode started rolling, like I thought that we was looking at a very far in the past flashback, which we kind of was looking at a flashback, sorta. Um, but I thought it was like Frieren's time, like the hero party time. I thought we'd gone back to the Himmel and them,
yep.
Um, so it was kind of like an interesting way to start the episode. Um, Especially with how it ended last time. So, uh, but like you said, like I was wondering where Frieren and Fern and all of them would come in. And I didn't expect them to come in like they did, you know. Like
Coming in blasting.
yeah, I mean they I guess that like they Fern had gotten like the request to come kill these demons too with this village, and they showed up just a little bit late. Um Later than like Janu and Methode, and like they was able to start fighting because they're like, I sent someone," and they literally was they had spells drawn, they was ready to rock and roll, and they called them off at the last minute. I thought it was pretty cool. Really wished that they would have like had some shots fired. I think that would have been fun to see what happens, but
Well, so I can understand though why that didn't happen, right? Because um while Frieren would have gone for the kill, she only went that way because she said it herself, the bloodlust that she sensed was so strong. It was like, how are you not a demon?
exactly. It's
So I mean, I can understand them not also, going to blows after she blows out the windows and then sees who it is.
and it just goes to show you how strong that Gino and Methode actually is, because she didn't send Fern and Stark in there. She came in there first, ready to blow some shit up. And that's usually, she only does that when it's a stronger opponent. So I thought that was pretty cool too. Um
Yeah.
and I do remember them talking about that, Nam, about the bloodlust or whatever. I was kind of wondering who they was actually talking about. What if they was talking about Gino, or was they talking about Frieren? I assumed it
Jino.
was Gino though.
Yes, yes.
So
Because Freerin came in and she was like, with all that bloodlust, I thought you were a demon for a moment.
yeah, I want you to hold that too, hold that thought too, because I'm gonna bring that back up later. So
Okay.
um also I thought it was pretty cool. We actually seen like how Frieren and them got um introduced to this mission or whatever, to this demon mission. It had like a little squirrel messenger. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, where else have you seen like squirrel messengers at, Nom?
I mean, when you're on the northern continent, you got to be creative with how you deliver things, right? You can't just send a guy on a horse.
I mean,
He's
you
gonna
think that they
die.
would use the flying animal, you know what I mean, or flying thing, not a
Nah,
ground
nah, dude. The ground
thing.
ones are the sneaky ones. Those are the ones you got to really watch out for.
True. I thought it was pretty cool though. He just like climbed up on Furin's back, and like Furin and him was having just like, oh, kawaii. It was so cool. Um, but yeah. So we see that Furin and all them showed up. They're all here now. And it's a good thing that they did, because even though the small fry stuck around and was like, playing around all the dead people and the rubbish and all that stuff, they got killed, by the way. Gino made quick, easy work of them. But there's obviously still some bigger demons left, because uh the ones that get stuck around could not have been the cause of the destruction that was left behind. So So now we go to a strategy meeting because no one really knows who, like, what the demon actually capable of this, what they're like yet. And that's where Methode comes in handy. She's pretty good at analyzing things. And she's analyzing like the wounds and like the destruction and everything else. She's putting it all together, trying to figure out like what kind of demon they're going up against. They already know it's strong, so now they got to figure out just how strong. That way, they're not caught off guard when they actually go to fight it. Um, and her and Stark actually come up and say, "Well, it seems like it's a dual wielding sword demon, but that's not quite right either." And it turns out that they believe that it is actually a demon wielding four swords, which is pretty cool. I don't think we've seen this in Frieren yet. I always enjoy like a good four wielding sword opponent. Usually they're pretty tough. Um, so I thought it
Usually
was
they're
really cool.
demons. That's why.
Yeah, I mean either that or octopus, right? Um, but it's pretty interesting to like see, like we like go over some of the men that died or whatever, and like Gino was saying that some of them, Gino and Farron was saying that some of these men that's from like the Norm company, the Norm trading company, they're actually stronger than Stark, and they got cut down easily by this dude. So that just goes to show you just how strong this demon is. um like he's capable of taking down strong frontliners basically. Um and it kind of set the vibes as like this demon is actually pretty strong and he might be like captain level. Like, do you remember like when we was talking about that other hero? Do you remember all the captains? Was a four sword demon one of the captains or generals or whatever? Do you remember?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. So, and I didn't have time to look it up. But that's the kind of vibes I got, you know what I mean? Like we're fighting a upper rank type of dude. So um but it'd be interesting to see if we actually do. I know that they call him like a general or something like that, but I think that's kind of like a common just a common like thing that they call stronger demons or whatever. But I'm curious to know if he was actually one of those one demons that maybe, come back or something, I
It
don't know.
was the seven sages of destruction are what
It
they were.
it was one of them or no?
No, no.
Okay, okay.
But they
But
were known as the seven
yeah,
sages of destruction.
those are the ones that I was talking about. Yeah, yeah. It kind of gave up them vibes though, did it not?
I wouldn't necessarily go that far. Cause like from what I remembered, they weren't exactly like the main pieces of that whole story, right? It was actually the fact of what was his name? Schlatt, I think it was.
What
Yes.
the hero?
No.
Oh,
Unless his name was Schlatt. I thought they just called him Hero of the South. Yeah. Schlatt the Omniscient. He was like the big bad demon, right?
yeah, yeah. The one that
So
could see in the future or whatever. So
I'm seeing this four sworded one kind of almost like
below him, right?
almost on the same level as him with rank, right? So
Yeah.
like Schlatt had the ability to have the seven sages of destruction underneath him.
Okay.
I could see this guy having like his own army that he gets to control and dictate around and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean they do. Like I said, they do call him like general or whatever. So usually they do have some kind of like backing behind them. Um, but that's pretty much the end of episode 6. It was, pretty short and to the point. We meet up and see, we get to know like what's coming, and then in episode 7, which is where we're going to now, it's actually the called the Divine Revolt. And this episode actually starts off going back in time a little bit. We see Siri, who is Frieren's like sensei or whatever. I forget what she's called. She's like the overseer or whatever. She's actually assigning Methode as Geno's new partner because his old partner died recently, and he needs another one in order to go back out there and keep doing the good old things or whatever. So
You keep fighting the good fight.
yeah, keep doing the shit that nobody else wants to do. So um, and he actually says some interesting things Genu does, and he's like mages that are sent up north usually they care more about fighting than they do eating. That's the kind of that's the kind of mentality that you need to have in order to step foot in the northern plateau and like take on these demons and these harsh conditions and stuff, because you're going to be eating you know hard bread. You're not going to be eating really good food. You're going to be barely hanging on or whatever.
You're gonna be
um
surviving, not just living.
yeah. So I thought that was an interesting statement because I mean, I guess it's true, going up north and fighting or whatever isn't for the weak, it's for the people who love to fight. And that's who's going to be up there. And so he was kind of like curious, like why Methode got sent instead of someone like Ubel, because we all know Ubel, she just loves to fight. And like it got me wondering too, like, why was Methode picked? Because she doesn't seem like that type, like Ubel. And I honestly like I want to see more Ubel. I want to see more chaos. But why do you think that Methode got chosen over Ubel? Is it because Ubel's more chaotic and less easier to control?
Or maybe because Methode is ridiculously powerful and we just don't know it yet.
It could be that. I also think that she's pretty smart too. And we was like told that the reason why his old partner died was because he was stupid or something like that. He done stupid shit. And I feel like that she's more calculated. And maybe that's why she was sent too. I don't know. I'm not sure.
That one I feel the calculated part I feel is probably accurate,
Yeah.
right? Like that would make sense. I don't think it's really anything else other than the fact that she is very smart and can probably handle herself.
Yeah. And I think, and this is not saying that Ubel's not smart. Ubel is very smart. She's just unpredictable. She's not very calculating.
She's a loose cannon.
Yeah, she's a loose cannon. And that's probably why his partner died. I feel like that's what they was leading us to believe, is that dude was like, he just went off and just did shit, and that's what ended up getting him. So um but now we actually catch a glimpse of this four sword demon, the big baddie. And like he's being told that there's like three first class mages and a warrior that came into their town, the little net that they cast basically. And he's being told this. And I thought that this was a pretty cool way of meeting someone like him, because like dude's dude's pretty cool looking. He's got both his eyes covered. He's got some like jewelry looking things on him. He's like a serpent. He's got like a huge tail. I don't know if he's a serpent or a mermaid type deal. I'm not sure. He's very fashionable though for a demon. I'm not gonna lie.
I will agree with you on that one. He is quite fashionable.
Like dude's fly. Like don't be surprised if I actually remember. Don't be surprised if I bring him up in the DGs next year. So
that agenda will not be happening. I'm sorry, Tyler.
He's looking pretty cool, not gonna lie. So, but he just gave off like a pretty good aura, it was pretty cool. So
a very menacing aura.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though he looks like he does, especially since the his like assistant chick or demon or whatever, she's like a cute little girl or whatever, and she's just like so cheery and like oh, I wanna understand why these humans make stupid decisions and all this stuff. And then we got him, so it was a pretty cool contrast. So, um, speaking of like the other teams though, they actually split up into different groups. They go two different ways. Gino and Stark, they stay in town in order to guard dead people. Because the Norm Company or whatever is going to be here soon to collect the bodies and stuff. And they don't want like the demons, coming and like feasting on them basically, even though he put up a barrier. Frieren, Fern, and Methode, they actually go out and they're going to be hunting for the demons. They're going to be looking for them. And I honestly thought the splitting up was a pretty interesting choice, because we are shown that Gino knows exactly what this demon is specifically because it's the same demon that killed his partner. So he knows that how strong this demon is, and it's strong enough to survive a fight with someone like Gino and his partner and kill his partner and get away at the same time to live and like to talk about it another day or whatever. So they're that strong, and now they're actually doing them a favor by splitting up. It's kind of what he's wanting too, even though they don't know that. But I thought it was like I said, I thought it was an interesting choice because it's I don't know, it feels like you should know better as Gino, right? At this point.
You should. You don't want to, but you
Yeah.
should.
Yeah, I mean, he was a proctor. Like he's supposed to be pretty smart. He's supposed to be senior, like a senior leader type person or whatever. And you literally know what type of demon, what demon you're facing or whatever. And he's just like, oh, let's just split up. Yeah, it's fine. Even though we fought this dude before, and we didn't kill it. It actually killed one of us, but it's fine. I'll stick. I can kill it by myself. And I was just like, yeah, okay, buddy. Is that why you didn't kill it last time? um, also thought that like during this time, like Gino and Stark was talking, and he was being really negative about himself. And I thought it was kind of weird because like according to him, he's a bad person. He's a very bad person. And he doesn't really say why. He just keeps on just harping on the fact that he's a bad person. Do you think he's actually as bad as what he portrays himself to be, or do you think it's just him just, you know,
He probably has done a lot of messed up things, but I don't think he as a person is necessarily bad in that sense, right? He's probably done a lot of things that are borderline villainous or just downright morally wrong, but I think he's always tried to have the greater good in mind while doing so.
I just don't see him as the type to kill like non demons because it made you feel like he was like talking about he was killing people or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He never did
but
say
he's
that, but it's what it felt like. So,
well, so kind of going back to the previous conversation when he was talking about his partner, right? His partner died saving a kid, and his specific words were, "I would have let the kid die."
oh, that's a nice catch because I did not catch that. So,
Yeah, he said, "Our partner died, or my partner died, and the demon got away, all
yeah.
because he wanted to save the kid. I would have let the kid die."
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's what he's ultimately getting at, is that he doesn't think the same way as like a normal person would, but he's always got the greater good in mind as well, right? Like
Yeah. Obviously, because he wouldn't be doing what he's doing if he didn't, you know?
9 times out of 10, people are gonna save the kid, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the kid.
And he's that Ubo
Um,
type character, I guess, where she's like, I don't give a shit. Cut his head off because I'm going to cut yours off too.
and that's exactly it. Is somebody else though is thinking, okay, one person, no matter how young, compared to thousands.
Yeah.
maybe even millions.
And maybe he just don't have the right, I don't know, mindset, mentality, and to keep like to not let that affect him. Like whereas Ubel would be like, oh well, who cares? I mean, she literally kills humans, right? We've seen her kill humans, so
Yep.
and she just don't give a shit. So, but I thought that was pretty interesting. Another thing that I thought was interesting during these moments or whatever during the scenes, um, I want to go back to where they was the demons was counting. They said three first class mages and a warrior. And we all know that there's actually four first class mages and a warrior. And
Well,
I don't think well, so I think I know where you're going. And I don't think that they know that they don't judge someone by their status as a first class mage. I think they judge someone by their the vibes, like the feeling, their aura. You know what I mean? Because they're demons. They don't know about first class mages and second class mages and shit. You know what I mean?
I beg to differ. I think that
You
they
think
would
so?
know very much about them, and they would have an idea of, when somebody is labeled as one, to be able to actually rank them as such.
Yeah, but then you're talking about like demons who have lived a very long time when they should know who Frieren is technically. You know what I mean? They should know that she is a first class mage as well, even though technically during these the standards in today's standards that she didn't pass because of series jealousy or whatever. She's still a first class mage. She just ain't labeled as one in the new world or the new certifications or
In
whatever. So
in her power, yes, she is definitely a first class mage, but yeah, she was never actually awarded
because
the
of Siri.
status.
Yeah, because of Siri. Uh
So that's the major distinction, right? Is like, if you are going based off of the official records, yes, Frieren, while being stronger than probably any first class mage that has ever existed, she still technically is not.
yeah. So you remember when I said hold that thought?
Yes,
What was we talking about then?
the bloodlust.
Yeah, the bloodlust about how Frieren thought that what's his name?
Gino.
Gino, like he had so much bloodlust that he was almost a demon, right? She thought he was a demon. What if Gino is kind of like a demon? What if he's like a hybrid or something? What if?
That would be pretty crazy.
Because then their statement would be accurate, correct?
But the only thing about that is, why would Syria allow him to actually even be a first class mage to begin with?
Siri is a very old male. Siri, I don't know what I just said. Melf.
Yeah, for real. What's going on here?
Siri is a very old elf. Okay, so she might have seen things, you know, and she might be more like she might be uh more prone to giving you know extra chances to some people that prove their worth in the Northern Plateau. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it'd be cool if we had someone like that show up. You know?
Well, so here's the counter argument. He would have never even made it to the Northern Plateau because he would have had to actually go through all the testing first.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that, especially pair that with like the end of this episode, you know, or whatever. So which we ain't to yet, but it's just an interesting theory that I'm probably wrong about it. It's probably actually what Nom's saying, and the demons are just like really up to date on like statuses and shit, and they're counting for an out. They're just not even like looking at her or whatever. And it kind of makes sense, somewhat on Nom's side of things because like if you knew that like Frieren was a first class mage and Fern was a first class mage, I feel like you wouldn't try to 2v1 them like they are doing now. So, because like Frieren and Fern and Methode, they run into these two demons, a demon boy or a demon guy, whatever, and a demon girl. and like they end up splitting them up, and the demon girl goes after the Methode because she seemed interesting, uh, or whatever. And the demon guy was like, "Okay, I'll handle the other two." I feel like if you knew that who Frieren was, or if you knew that both of them was first class mages, you probably wouldn't try to 2v1 them, in my
No,
opinion.
no,
So
not at all.
um, I thought that was kind of ignorant for the demon, but he's ignorant, you know. He
It's
just
not, yeah,
doesn't
it's not like
know.
he
So
knows.
maybe the other demon that's maybe the other demon, the big baddie, maybe he would know Frieren, but like I don't think these two demons they're younger. I feel like so they don't know Frieren. Um, but I thought it was kind of cool during this moment that Frieren was like, she was basically like, yeah, I'm not gonna fight. I'm gonna let you handle it, Fern. You're the first class mage here. You're the one that was summoned. You need to take out these demons.
Not my job. I don't care. Good luck.
Fern's just like, but he's stronger than me. I don't think I can do it. And Fern's like, no, girl, you got it, girl. Go ahead.
Remember the basics. Wax on, wax off. Remember?
She's like, but I wouldn't have even been able to tell that they was sending an attack my way if you hadn't pointed. She's like, no, you would have been fine.
Totally not.
I thought that this whole like scene or whatever was pretty cool. It just shows like Frieren. I feel like it shows that Frieren isn't worried at all. She's just like, oh, these two are like pushovers basically for her, and she's just like, I can allow Fern to get more experience in the field, because they're not as strong as uh, they're not as strong as so they won't overpower. So um, but yeah, uh, so where's the main baddie at, by the way? The four swordmen, the drippy bad guy. He actually showed up to fight Stark and Gino. And honestly, Stark's doing a really good job at holding his own so far. Even though he's clearly outmatched. Because like, what can one frontliner do against a dude that swings four swords that killed like people that was more powerful than him in the city or whatever, right? It's not a lot you can do. You can just parry and like counter and stuff like that. You just can't
And
do
hope for
nothing
the
else though.
best.
Yeah, hope for just try to stay alive, kid. Basically. But I think this goes to show us that Stark has actually grown a lot. Like old Stark would never like go head to head with something like this, right? I don't think. I think he's
No.
grown up. He's changed. He's gotten better. So he's not a coward as much anymore. So um
That'd be a
but
pretty fair statement.
yeah. And now we get to the part I was talking about earlier. Gino actually uses a spell, or it seems like he uses a spell, and he grows like black wings. And he's able to like just fly around. And we still don't know what kind of fighter he actually is, but he says he's really good at close range, close quarter combat too. He's mastered close quarter combat and stuff. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see him fight, especially a demon that's very close quarter combat, uh, and just to see what he's got up under his sleeves. So, but
Yeah, I would agree.
but that's it. That's the end of this episode. I feel like we have 3 more episodes of Frieren left. I feel like 2 of those episodes, or maybe all 3, we're gonna be getting this. We're gonna be watching this fight for the rest of the season. I feel like so. What about you?
Um, probably like the total of the fight, yes. Like them finally finishing it off by the end of it. I don't think it's gonna carry on into like
No, yeah,
next season cliffhanger style, right?
uh,
There's gonna be a resolution
yeah. The
somewhere at the end.
third episode is gonna be the resolution. Frieren does a really good job at like ending it and like on a perfect ending, you know what I mean, and not having like a cliffhanger type deal. So, I feel like it'll be the same here. So, but I think we're definitely gonna see the rest of the season be this fight because it's 3 different fights now, and I feel like that. I feel like that Fern and Frieren and Methode will finish their fights and have to go help Gino and Stark finish the big baddie. So that's what I think. So,
I could definitely see that.
but that's it,
To be
Nom.
fair,
That's it.
awesome.
Unless you have anything else.
I do not. So let's go ahead and take it away with JJK Rulebook. Now we're gonna be talking about episode 8, Tokyo Colony number 1, part 2. And so we start with a man being arrested for murder, and a public defender is representing him throughout all of this. And during this, we finally learn that it is Higuruma, right? And it was really sad, everything that happened leading up to this, right?
It
Because they're
was.
explaining it, and like the circumstances are just stacked against this guy.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like I'm pretty sure we've seen this dude before too, and we just didn't really know anything about him, right?
Yeah.
He's like
Well,
a
so they were talking about him a lot, and that's really like the most that we saw.
I,
But
was it someone else that we seen, or was it actually him, like the little the office worker looking dude? Like several
I'm
episodes ago.
I'm pretty sure that was someone else.
Okay, it could
The
have
guy
been
that was like a comedian.
That would make sense. I think they're kind of the same though. As far as like they got their powers, you know.
They're modern day
Yeah,
sorcerers.
yeah. So, which I think is interesting. See how all this happened, because like I don't know, like I thought that this case was kind of sketchy to begin with, and I thought it was interesting to see their point of view. As it was like unfolding, like they couldn't call the law, or they couldn't call emergency services or anything like that. So, but
And then also just how like nonprofit organizations started popping up everywhere after
yeah,
the earthquakes and mismanaging of funds, and like those are real things that happen too, which I mean it was kind of shocking that they delved into that kind of stuff too. But moving on though, so the two, Higuruma and his assistant, they're starting to look into the murder case to, build their side of the argument. And Higuruma's assistant starts to learn more about his past, and specifically how little he's actually changed after all these years.
yeah.
He was always idealistic and
I
go
thought it
ahead.
was pretty funny. Nom, she was like, "Oh yeah, Higurami, he's not changed. He's still the same dude or whatever." She's like, "Oh, he's always been like this." And she's like, "No, I think he's actually been worse. He was actually worse before." Can you imagine, bro?
You just find literally anyone that's like, I'm not guilty, and you're like, all right, I'll take your case.
So this was actually like I just watched this last night or whatever. This episode specifically last night, and like I've been like doing a rewatch of Daredevil. Like the first, like the original Daredevil or whatever. And I was like, how cool is this? Like this, like Higurama is literally like Foggy and mad. They like take on any like people that are like they literally are holding the smoking gun. They're just like, nah, this man's he's innocent. And this is the same type of dude Higurama is.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. And it's pretty much what happened, right? So they go to the trial, and it turns out like the whole thing about it was there was this knife. The guy picked it up. He couldn't call because of the neighbors in his live-in residence, which is actually this old people home that he works at. But he's paying them rent to actually be there.
It's fishy, man. Like it's really fishy. It seems like they're doing illegal shit or something, and they just don't want the cops there, and that's their excuse for not to have the cops there. So
Yeah. And so he ends up getting caught with this knife, and of course, Um,
Well,
Higurama, he uses this to his advantage and he wins the trial. And
well,
that's great.
who picks up a bloody knife and brings it home with them?
Look, he did say that he was going to turn it into the police later. He just hadn't had time yet because of work and everything.
I'm just saying, man. Why in the hell are you picking up a freaking bloody knife and putting it in your house?
You're not trying to leave it out on the streets for anyone to just grab and have it disappear.
Say
I
goodbye
can
to your
I
life,
can
buddy.
understand what he's doing. Would I do the same? No.
No.
But I understand.
I mean,
All
I
right.
understand his situation, but it's pretty shitty. It's a pretty shitty
Um
situation to get yourself into.
yes.
He's got to be stupid, is what I'm gonna say.
I wouldn't go that far. But anyways, so anyways, Higurama, he wins the trial, but they order a retrial, and the argument is he's here, the supposed true culprit is not, he's guilty.
Mm-hmm. Tragic, but it's the way it goes.
I mean, unless you're Higurama.
Yeah, unless you're Higurama and gets pissed off and just starts pounding the damn uh gavel.
Well, what it was he got so pissed off, he awakened his cursed energy.
I thought it was pretty cool though. Because everybody was just leaving or whatever, and he's just like, I demand one now.
He's like, everybody get back here. We're having a retrial.
I'm not gonna lie, I really like this dude. Like in this episode, like during like I thought they done a really good job presenting him as a character, and like then like showing us how he became the way he became. He's a
Yeah,
really cool character.
the
So
motivation was absolutely excellent. As far as like what drove him to be where he was, and then further fleshing out his character and just how much he like hates everything and dislikes everything, and how just anti things he is.
but
Um,
but he wants to help weak people.
he wanted to help weak people.
Yeah.
He wanted to.
Yeah. That was his
Now
big
he's starting
thing.
to. Now he's starting to not want to do it because even if he does, it still doesn't help anything.
Yeah, they always end up hating him or looking at him in disgust or, you know, hollering at him. Which I mean, I get
Well,
it.
and he never gets a chance at a fair trial, which is all he's ever wanted.
Well, I mean, that's technically his fault because he he picks up the horrible cases. But, that's neither here nor there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's just the issue with the actual system in
Yeah.
itself. But no, from there, um, we learn how the guy following Yuji actually knows him as well, because we're now starting to get back into like the modern time, and we're getting back into Yuji as well as Megami.
Mm-hmm.
But we learn how the guy who's following Yuji actually knows him, and these guys were mugging this guy in an alley. The one dude was kind of standing back, and then Yuji just comes up and starts mopping the floor with everyone.
He just low diffs them easily. They're just like, yeah, what are you looking at, kid? You should be talking. You should be talking with respect since you're younger than us, and he just doesn't have it. He's just like, oh, okay, come on now.
Just fucking bodies them all.
He's like, you want some
Four of
too?
them.
You want some too? And he just runs off.
Yep.
It's funny.
But then we also see the woman leading Megami into a trap, basically. Like, she keeps leading him to this place and saying how she needs to do all these things. Like, she needs to go and take a bath because she hasn't had one since the other night, and whatever. So Megami's
I
like,
knew that
all
was
right.
bullshit, didn't you?
Um,
Lead
obviously.
going to her base, like, okay, that's clearly bait. You know what I mean?
I think Megami knew that already,
Oh
though.
yeah, he's pretty smart. Yuji would have just walked right in there, but Megami, he knew. So
Oh yeah. But no, from there, the oh, real quick too, I did not expect the kid to actually be telling the truth.
Yeah, about so we figured that at least one of them was gonna be lying, right? I kind of thought both of them was gonna be lying,
Yep,
and
I
then
think
like
we all did.
yeah, and then like the kid that knew Yuji or whatever, like before Yuji runs into like the theater or whatever, he acts like he wants to tell him something, like he's like having regrets about bringing him there, kind of like he was leading him into a trap, sort of. So I didn't
Yep.
actually believe that Higurama was in there until we actually seen Higurama in there. So
Yeah, no, that was weird. But before we actually learn more about Higurama, we actually will see what Megami is up to as he confronts Reggie. And Reggie turns out he knows all about Kenjaku.
yeah, it's kind of weird, ain't it?
Very. Now the clever part on Megami's side is that he doesn't mention Tengen, right? And neither has Reggie yet. However, he's starting to kind of theorize some things in regards to Kenjaku and his plan. But before we get into all of that, we will actually go back to Yuji and Higurama, who, by the way, is taking a bath with his clothes on.
Do you happen to remember why he said he was doing it? Wasn't it something like he decided to start doing things that normally people
That are not
shouldn't?
normally socially acceptable.
Yeah. He was like, I forgot how good this was in school or whatever when we was doing swimming class or whatever. Like, bro, what are you talking? What are you yapping about, bro? I thought it was funny as hell.
Yeah. Um, but that being said, we do learn he is a modern day sorcerer. So that's actually pretty exciting because modern day sorcerers, they're not bound by the same kind of rules or limitations that like the old school modern sorcerers are bound by.
Yeah, they have more fun powers. I'll just say that. Interesting powers.
That's definitely one way of putting it. Not exactly how I would have, but a way
They
of
have
putting
some
it.
powers like me and Dan like throughout in their like JJK domain expansion episode. That's the type of powers that they gonna be having, the modern day shit. So
Um, but no, so Yuji starts pleading with Higurama while Reggie is talking about his theory. And basically Reggie's theory is that it's not Kenjaku wanting to use the sorcerer's energy, right? Because if that was the case, he'd want the greatest sorcerers around fighting for as long as possible.
mm-hmm.
Whereas this one is him actually gathering up souls specifically.
Yeah.
So he theorizes that there is more in play.
Which makes
Which,
sense.
yeah, I would agree as well.
Yeah, I don't really know all
Um,
the logistics of it, but it definitely makes sense. It's some we I feel like we all knew that like the Culling games wasn't like the motives behind it wasn't as simple as what was being said. So with
yep,
Kinjaku behind it, so
yep. But then Higurama, he steps out of the bath, right? And as he's walking down the steps, he casts a domain expansion.
that was fast.
This guy's a modern day sorcerer. He's had his powers for all of like 2 weeks. And you're already throwing out domain expansions, my guy?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It was actually a really badass soundtrack being played too. The whole time we was getting like introduced to Higurama's character in the theater. I thought it was like a really cool setup. And then he just walks down. He don't even want to like talk to him really or like fight him. He just like straight to it. Domain expansion.
Yep. My God, and the way how it came out too was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like it is shaped just like a courtroom.
Yeah. It,
Um,
which I mean makes sense. You know what I mean? Like that's what
yeah,
his. I mean that's what he is. You know, he's a lawyer. And I was kind of wondering, like at the when he was like at the beginning of the episode when he had it happen or whatever. I was kind of like wondering what happened after that, and now we kind of know. So
yep. Um, the last thing we get to see is an explosion happening, and it's kind of like over one of the other areas, we'll say, one of the pillars. And from behind it, Kenjaku walks to a half circle table, which is filled with a bunch of men. And they actually invite him to sit down, in which case he thanks them for the invite, which I found really, really strange.
yeah, I mean, I still don't know
Who,
what's going on with that. So
like, yeah, for real, who are these people? And how do they know him? Why is he even here?
exactly. I guess we'll figure it out one of these days. I don't know. Like they got a lot of things going on in the background that's trying to creep up on us. So I guess we'll figure it out.
Yep. And the good news is we're not going to wait very long because we have next episode 9, Tokyo Colony number 1, part 3.
Maybe the final part. I don't know.
Nope, it's going to have 2 more parts and be like a slime fucking season 4.
At least it's been not all meetings, so it could be worse.
You are right there. So we start though. Higurama is unleashing his domain expansion, and Yuji tries to beat him before it activates. And just as his fist is about to connect, he is too late, and the two are now in a courtroom with Yuji having to face and plead his case.
Yeah, this is honestly great, Nam. Like Higurama's just like, "Oh no, no, no. You cannot hit me. This is a no violence zone."
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty cool.
that was honestly, I was kind of confused too. I was like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah, like what?
Because he's like, no violence can happen here. Same goes for me as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is different than what we used to see with domain expansions.
Yeah. So like it took me I had to rewind this episode a few times in this beginnings like a few minutes or whatever because I was trying to understand uh like the domain expansion like the things behind it or whatever, you know. And like this dude we all know domain expansions are OP, right? And like this domain expansion is like really OP because like you're asking someone, a normal person, you know, to defend themselves when they don't know anything about defending about being a lawyer, and you're having to defend yourself against an actual lawyer, you know, which is pretty cool. And then you got a judge overbearing, like the demon or whatever, the curse or whatever is like the judge, and like it's such a cool power. It's such a I love that they what they did here. So
Yeah. And even better yet, we have an explanation for why this is all happening and how it's happening, right?
mm-hmm.
And so as they're on the opposite sides, Tengen basically cuts to a flashback where he's explaining the difference in domain expansions. They used to be a lot more simplistic, right? It used to basically just be a surrounding area, and it wasn't based around the guaranteed kill style of modern sorcerers, right? Modern sorcerers have developed it to where not only do you hit, but you also kill
Yeah,
when
high
you make
probability
contact.
or guaranteed kill.
And that has made it something that has been extremely hard and rare for people to actually encounter, because it's not a very common thing that people can do, especially when your whole idea is not to be that malicious. So in the old days, it was just guaranteed hit, which
Mm-hmm.
was bound by rules and laws. There was, structure to it. And the example they gave was a sumo match. The ring is the stage, and everything else was the basis for what they were able to work around. So you had, if you stepped out of the ring, you lost, right? And that was a guaranteed hit. If either party stepped out of the ring, and that's how the old domain expansions of old used to work. So this one is like the old style, which was really, really cool to see as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, so Higurama has a pact with Judge Man, and Judge Man is the only person who can actually judge. But this domain expansion does involve, like you said, the person defending themselves. Judge Man calls on a random event that happens. He gives Higurama a piece of evidence, one single piece, to help him disprove the claim from the defendant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if the defendant, after they make their claims, Judge Man makes his judgment. And it goes from there. And so this one was really, really interesting. He's judged, or he's standing trial for entering a gambling parlor underage. And so he's freaking out, thinking about which path to take, right? Do I
Yeah.
deny it? Do I, plausible lie? Or do I just admit to it and hope for leniency, right?
Or plead the fifth, I think was an option. And he even asked, like, what happens if I'm guilty? And he's like, I'm not telling you that. So it
Well,
makes it more interesting. So
he said he can't tell you that
yeah, I thought he said
because
he
he doesn't
wouldn't.
know.
I thought he said he wasn't going to disclose that information or something like that.
Nope.
Okay.
Because the person ends up hearing what the sentence is.
Yeah, I got you.
But he wouldn't disclose what the evidence was until the person made their claim. That's what he wouldn't disclose.
It,
But
it was still a pretty funny court case. We'll call it that. I thought it was
yes,
hilarious. Like Yuji just racking his brain. Like, 'cause he's not the smartest, you know. Like you put Megami up there, he's gonna be more strategic. But Yuji's just like, oh shit, what do I do? What do I do? I just had to take a shit.
yeah. And so that's what Yuji's choice is. He decides to try and lie, saying that he entered, but he went to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so Higurama pulls out his evidence, and it's a picture of Yuji at a cash exchange. And so, tying the two together, the only reason why Yuji would be at a cash exchange is because he went gambling at the parlor, which he already admitted to entering.
Yeah. So, so I find this domain expansion pretty interesting too. Just based on the fact that like the judgment obviously knows if they're guilty or not when he's like assigning the case or like picking the case or whatever. But he's not basing it on if they're guilty or not. He's basing it on the arguments presented. So that's even cooler in my opinion.
Yep. Um, but anyways, arguments are made. Verdict is handed down. Guilty.
GG's.
Confiscation is the punishment.
And you're just like, this is the part where I had to rewind it because I'm just like, what? What does that mean?
And this is the part where Tyler ended up wasting a lot of time because he should have just continued watching.
It's one of my downfalls, Nom. I ain't gonna lie.
So as they get teleported back, this is where we finally get probably one of the best fights the series has had to date.
I think so,
Higurama
yeah.
goes off
Mm-hmm.
He is just, so he's got immense perfect control over his gavel, right? He can throw it, he can manifest it, he can make it disappear, he can make it grow, he can make it shrink, he can, whip it around, he can do whatever he wants with it.
He can like just basically like, you know, like make it a
Rapid
machine
fire
gun,
it,
man.
rapid fire it. And Yuji, the confiscation is him losing the ability to control cursed energy. So the official definition is that the user loses their technique, which
Temporarily, by the way.
which is tied to usually their cursed energy and their abilities in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so every time that he's fought somebody, he hasn't had any issues with it. And this is the first time where he's actually felt where he had to
Like,
really do something because Yuji doesn't have a technique.
yeah.
He's just physically fucking gifted.
He's just a god.
He's just strong, my guy. um and so they're going toe to toe. Higurama, again, just the abilities that he's showing with the gavel, his immense control over cursed energy, his physical prowess in general, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
so,
It was really cool.
go ahead.
No, it was really, really cool. Like you said, this is probably one of the better fights of JJK, honestly. So,
Yeah. And we're not even into part 2 of the Culling games yet, mind
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But we end up getting to see Yuji on the back legs, right? He's finally like on his final stand. He's got the gavel about to crush him. He's holding on for dear life, and he's like, all right, how do I get out of this? There's got to be a way. What do I do? Oh, I know. Court.
Yeah. Court. What can I do to court? What happens to court?
Retrial. I demand a retrial. And so he gets one, right? And this was the cool part too. As long as you don't admit guilt, you are allowed up to 2 free retrials that judgment cannot refuse.
Yep. I thought this was a cool thing because like Yuji of all people figuring this out by himself and like getting himself into like that again, or whatever. I thought it was kind of cool because like I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that as a way out, but then as soon as he said it, I was like, oh shit, that's right. Retrial, you
Yeah,
know?
dude, that was some real big brain right there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not many people would have thought of that. That's for sure. But so anyways, they're back in the court, and it's a new case this time because obviously he knows how to get out of the last case. We can't do that again.
Yeah.
So now we're on to the new case. The charge: mass murder in Shibuya.
You want to, I love how fast Yuji you know, stated his side in this. Like, he had no hesitation, man. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. For those of you playing the home game and don't know, he said, "Yeah, I killed everyone."
Dude didn't hesitate. Like I said, it was kind of badass, but like we know that Yuji like this is a very sensitive subject for Yuji. Like he blames him. He's got a lot of guilt for this, and like he feels like that he needs to be punished, and I feel like that this is like he thought that this would lead him to being punished. I guess you know what I mean.
Yes, his way of starting to try and atone for it
Yeah.
because he feels personally responsible since he wasn't strong enough to actually stop Sukuna from taking over his body.
And
Uh,
since he admitted to this, that means he can't have another retrial. By the way.
yes, he has finally admitted guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that being said, though, it's time for the verdict. And I was not expecting Judge Man to go that crazy. Were
Yeah.
you?
I mean, I get it. Like, so we don't really know like what all the like verdicts, like the penalties are or whatever. And so, like, he said guilty, and then he said confiscation. I was like, oh, you know, cool. Like, what's he confiscating this time? You know, or whatever. And then he adds on like death penalty, and I'm like, oh shit, how does that work?
I was talking about the fact that the blood was spewing out of its eyes at that
Oh
time
yeah,
too, and it was screaming.
it was pissed.
That was the more shocking part.
I
Like
guess
everything else, you
I
know what? I can get by that. But
I
man,
I guess he doesn't. I guess Judge Man doesn't see people like admitting guilt, as much. Probably, they probably all try to get out of it. And Yuji answered so fast, and he's just like, I did it. So I thought maybe that's why. So
maybe. But anyways, yeah, guilty verdict, confiscation, and death penalty. And with this, Higurama gets access to the Executioner's Sword, which is a one-hit KO attack. And this is now Yuji's final stand. This sword only comes out if the death penalty is actually assigned from Judgman, and it can only be used on the target that has been deemed guilty if they are touched by the sword. Touched by it, they are done for.
I thought the sword was really cool looking too. The whole like, it appearing and stuff. Like it's just awesome, man. Like his domain expansion is really really cool. So
Yes. um so Yuji is now making his final stand. He leaps into the crowd, breaks all the seats, and him and Higurama are in their final showdown, we'll say. And Higurama is like racking his brain at this point because he knows what happened.
mm-hmm.
He knows the truth about Shibuya. He wasn't there, but he has the evidence, right? And he's shared every bit of evidence. So that way he knows, right? And at this point, he's second guessing. Why am I attacking Yuji? Why did you admit guilt, Yuji? It wasn't you, it was Sukuna. I know of Sukuna. Why did you admit to this? And so, just before he's about to hit Yuji, he deactivates the sword. And Yuji just blasts him one time, right? And they have one final talk. And that's when Higuruma decides, all right, put a shirt on. I'll give you your new rule.
Yeah, this was pretty cool. Like I didn't. It felt like this was gonna happen. Like honestly, but I didn't think that it was gonna be because he figured out that he wasn't guilty, sort of. You know what I mean? I thought, I don't know, I don't know. I just felt like he wasn't gonna actually kill Yuji because it's Yuji, right? Like he can't die just yet. So, um, or can he?
I
I don't
think
know, but
I think if Yuji was actually the one that ended up killing them, that Higurama would have no problem ending Yuji's life.
yeah, but the point of it being is that like we've seen Higurama and we've seen like his like mentality or whatever, and like he's the type that like Yuji's like his perfect candidate for his defense, right? Like if you brought Yuji to the table to defend, and like this would be someone that he would defend because this is the type of people. Like he got caught with smoking gun, but man, he's innocent. I think he's innocent or whatever. So I thought it was cool.
It was all right. At the same time, I think it was just ultimately because he saw past everything and realized that this was a man who who, even knowing that it wasn't his fault, still is trying to take ownership over it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's actually getting to him.
Yeah.
Not not the fact that Yuji is literally like every single other person. Because every other single person would have blamed it on Sukuna, right?
Yeah.
And that would have made literally Yuji the same as everyone else. But I think that because he's deciding to try and own up to something that wasn't his fault, because his body was involved, that's where it's really standing apart.
Yeah. Which is kind of
Um,
sad too. I think that Higurama though, like, did like these last two episodes, Nom. It's made me a fan of Higurama. Like, I didn't know who he was before this, but like he's one of my top characters in JJK now. Like, he's a badass. I like him. I really like him. I hope we get to see more of him.
Me too, but I got some bad news for you on that front.
Yeah.
Um, Final bits of the episode. It's him creating the new rule. So now you can actually transfer points between players and it resets the clock,
Yeah.
prevents them from having their power stripped away.
Which is what they was
And
after.
and then he also leaves Yuji with 1 point. So neither of them actually have to worry about
Killing someone.
their kill. No, they don't have to worry about their abilities being stripped away for
Yeah.
19 days.
Yeah.
And then he ends up leaving saying that he doesn't want to hang around Yuji, otherwise he's gonna hate himself even more.
Yeah, because Yuji's such a role model, I think, and is kind of what I got out of it. Like, he respects Yuji because of the way he acts and carries himself, and he wants to be. I feel like he wants to be more on that side of the fence as far as like a person goes, and he knows that he's not. So, but
I think ultimately he's just getting disgusted at the version of himself that he's turning out to be, and seeing more of Yuji is bringing out his actual self.
he's like, this dude's so good when he has all the reasons in the world to be so bad. Why did I do what I did? So,
Yeah, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Nothing.
uh,
That's what you were doing.
but yeah, honestly, great episode. I'm pretty sure like it was really highly rated. Like on like all the sites or whatever. Like it, if I'm not wrong, it was like a 9.9 or something like that. They were saying so. But
Yeah, I mean, did you watch that fight?
yeah, like I said, badass man, super badass. But alrighty, is that all you got, Dom?
That is all I got for episode 9.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess I'll get into the first the episode 8 of Hell's Paradise season 2, called Chrysanthemum and Peach. So last episode we kind of ended on, the dragon tearing out his eyeball, if you don't remember. And Tao Fa, like, they're still going at it. Like, the episode starts and they're still going at it. Dude lost his eye. He tore out his eye, and just so he could see better. Shout out to him. Like, he's all about that, action. And if it takes losing an eyeball, he's down, bro. He's so down. But I thought it was pretty cool that we actually got like a little backstory on the dragon. We see that the man has goals, very simple goals, but he basically wants to be the best. He wants to be the strongest. He basically wants to be like Zoro. Even like I said, he even tore out his eye like Zoro too. So he's literally just Zoro, kind of. And this flashback, it leads back, like we see like this flashback of him like training, and like he's even got a sensei, and like his sensei says weird shit and he just can't comprehend it because he's just thinking about being stronger, faster, harder, all that stuff. And then we go back into the future and he's just slashing away, like just like old times. You just keep on slashing, and eventually maybe he'll win, right? And he even thanks Tao Fa. He's like, thank you for making me a better swordsman, for making me, tear my eyeball out and realize how to use Tao, or whatever, or sea towel, and making me a better swordsman. I thought that was pretty crazy, but I
Yeah,
like
dude's a
it.
little unhinged.
You're literally on the fast track to dying, and you're just like, thank you for making me a better swordsman. But
Hey, at least he's got his priorities straight, you know?
yeah, I do. Like I said, dude's literally like a version of like Kenpachi and Zoro, like no joke. Um, so even though Fuchi, um, which is a blonde researcher dude or whatever, he can't use Tao effectively still. Like he can't see it. He doesn't know how to use it, all that stuff. But he ends up finding the way to actually hinder Tao Fa. That way the dragon actually has a chance as shot at killing her. And I thought it was pretty funny that he just like runs up to her and just hugs her, and he's like, "Yo, bro, the Asamon samurai, they'd be able to do this shit. Please don't cut me in half, but cut her in half, and my trick should work. You know, me being her weakness, it should hinder her from regrowing, and that's honestly not a smart call by him because honestly, dude's only got one eye and it's got blood in it, and you're asking him not to cut you in half when you're literally clinging onto the chick, right? So,
I don't know. I think he did the right thing.
oh, he did the right thing, but it was very ballsy. I'll give him
What?
that.
But that's exactly it, right? You have to goad the Blade Dragon into doing what you need him to do. And that man doesn't give a fuck about anything else but his own skill and pride. And if you try poking at any single one of those, so help you, Tyler, he is going to be lunging at you to set that fact right.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He's like, I will do this, and he does. So, he makes it happen because he's going to be the best swordsman. And how can he be the best swordsman is if he can't even match the Asamon samurai, right? So, uh, at this point, like, he slices her in half, and she's not regrowing, so she starts like hauling for help, right? Because her partner's there, Jufa, and he notices what's actually happening, and he goes to help her. They end up combining. Apparently they touch hands and they combine together. Um,
Wait, hang on. So this would be a good part where if you were actually watching DBZ, you could say that they fusioned
sorta.
together.
They didn't use two
Yeah,
hands though, right?
they did the fusion dance.
Yeah, that is a good reference. That is a really good reference because that is kind of what they did. They kind of fused together.
More than kinda.
Yeah, I mean they basically did. And this is when we got led into their backstory. And I thought it was kind of on the sad side, in my opinion. Uh, and I want to know for you because it did for me, but I want to know if it made them feel more human to you, than like the other Tensen that we've seen, like Rian and like Gabby Maru's Tensen or whatever. Like, I feel like it did. I feel like it made them seem more human like and more like I felt sorry for him kinda. Did you have the same feelings or was you
I
not buying
wouldn't
it?
I wouldn't necessarily say made them feel more human like, but I definitely sympathize with them a lot more after hearing their story. Because it's not like they were ultimately trying to do that, right? They were trying to find a more peaceful way of being able to achieve immortality because that's what the guy who brought him there originally wanted from them, right? And
Mhm.
he did it out of plants because plants were the only thing that were stable enough that he could infuse his own spirit with it. Um, but as a result, the fact that over time they started to grow more unstable and mental and how everything started happening to them and stuff. I think that that definitely made them a little bit more. I don't want to say human, but it definitely made you sympathize with them a lot more. You wanted to learn more about them and stuff like that. You started to care about them in that sense
Yeah, it made their
a lot more.
stories feel more like,
Alive.
yeah, yeah. The other ones, like the other Tenson, like they just want to kill people and like complete the taunt, like the elixir, and like get the taunt and all that stuff. And these two, like they got different vibes, I guess you could say. Uh, like I don't know, like I thought it was cool too. Like one they was basically one person together. Like one of them was bad at one thing and the other one was good at one thing. And I think this show does a decent job at like taking duos like that and putting them together, kind of like Chobe and his little brother. And like they every chance they get, it seems like they're pairing someone up that's got that matches the strengths and weaknesses, and makes them better as a whole, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we also see May in the flashbacks, which was pretty cool. We didn't actually learn anything more about her other than she was a sensei figure, but we already kind of knew that, but we kind of got a little bit more in depth like look into like what she actually was to these students, I guess you can say, back in the day. So but now we go back from the flashback. They're docked, combined. The ultimate form is both jujutsu, you might be able to say. And they actually,
Please no.
I mean, that was their whole shtick, right? Is both jujutsu. They're basically one now. Uh, the ultimate form, docking. But they actually begin attacking. They begin attacking, and I thought that their new form was very scary looking, but kind of cool at the same time because it has like an offensive and defensive side, like transformation or whatever, and it kind of makes sense because like I think the offensive is Tao Fa, which is the pink haired chick, and the defensive side is Jufa, which is the blonde dude or whatever. And like when one of them gets hurt, like she got hurt and they just like flipped inside out, they said, basically, and turned into the defensive side of things. That way it gave her more time to heal. I thought that was all pretty cool, because we haven't really seen anything like this in Hell's Paradise yet. We've seen like big transformations, but not two coming together as one and have two different sides, and all that, like spitting spores out that make you insane or whatever. Like there's a lot going on, and I felt like it wasn't too packed, you know what I mean? Like it was just
Hmm.
right. So
They definitely did a pretty good job of balancing it, I would say.
yeah. um And so like this is pretty much it for this episode. We, like I said, we got the backstory, we got the build up and all that stuff. And the episode actually ends with Dragon and Chobe, like all of them, they're coming together and they're just like, hey, I know we kind of hate each other right now, and we want to kill each other, and we want to kill this big thing, and gain all the glory for it or whatever. But we have to work together in order to kill this thing. We have to, because now they've combined, they've gotten stronger. There's no way we're beating this thing if we do not work together. Um, and so they they decided to do that. And to make things a little bit more complicated, the samurai that came onto the island, I don't know, several episodes ago, they're actually starting to pick up speed now. They're heading into the island. I'm pretty sure they're heading to the castle or whatever, to wherever they're at. And they got the little whistle things and they're riding on monsters now. And they're gonna show up sooner or later, And do you think that that's gonna hurt? So, do you think that's gonna hurt their chances or help them, kind of? in your opinion?
I think it's gonna hurt their chances. It'll help them with getting away from the Tenzin.
But then they got to deal with them.
Then they're gonna have to deal with all of them, and they're not gonna want to necessarily be willing to help them, considering that they're helping criminals.
Yeah, it's gonna
Even though
be
those
interesting.
criminals have the ability to actually get a pardon.
Yeah, because like on their way too, I forgot to mention that they actually found a couple of their clansmen, like their headbands and shit. You know, like things that like tell them that, hey, this is these people or whatever, and they kind of got pissed about it, especially since evidence pointed to some of the criminals or whatever was the cause of death. So they're going
Yeah,
into this hating the criminals even more. So bad
it's
news.
really not looking good for those
Yeah,
guys.
bad news for bad news for Gabby Maru and Dragon and all of them. So,
Yep.
but that's all I got
Uh,
for episode 8, Dom.
let's take it away with episode 9, Love and Karma. It's very indicative of what this episode is going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
They might as well have just called it Bochu Jutsu.
Docky.
Please no. So we start with the fusion of Taufa and Jufa, and the combined beast is basically attacking twice as fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so Chobe has no choice but to kind of like step up and be the shield, but he's also coming up with a plan throughout all of this.
Yeah, do it himself,
Thank
right?
God.
He's just like, I'm gonna these stupid people. They're dumb. They don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm just gonna do this all myself. And I thought that was so funny.
No, it is crazy. And another thing that we find out too is that he's able to hold that form with the plant a lot easier now,
Yeah, I think is
right?
I don't want to really call it research, but I don't know what else to call it.
His willpower is starting to overpower the plant's desire to take him over.
And I honestly think that the time he spent with the other Tenzin kind of helped him out a lot on how to figure out him, like how to handle his abilities too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, that was definitely a huge help too. Um and another interesting part too is just how much like he's looking out for Toma,
mm-hmm.
cuz everything is ultimately just to help Toma and protect Toma and save Toma. But yet Toma now is actually getting to a point where he's able to stand toe to toe with all these people, and like he could pass as a Isaman now,
Yeah, I mean
like easily.
he, you know, when he got let dropped off or whatever, he left his brother and joined Gabby Maru's team for the time being or whatever, held prisoner, whatever you want to call it. It helped him out a lot. It helped him learn being able to fight, like train with the dragon, because like the dragon helped him become who he is, helped him be more confident. And I feel like this little section really showed just how much he has grown, and not to depend on his brother. He can do it himself now. So I really like that.
Yeah, yeah, and it also is another thing too for Toma, showing he really does care about his brother. He doesn't want him to have to be the one that's always saving him,
Mm-hmm.
and that was also really cool to see too.
Yeah.
Um, but speaking of Toma, we actually do get to see everyone else jump in and try and help out with this freaky beast. And Fushi and Toma are working together because Fushi can actually use Toma's Earth Towel to strengthen his Metal Towel, which allows them to attack their Weakness Towel. I don't remember what they have, but it's weak to
Yeah.
metal or
Pokemon
earth. I
things.
don't know. Yeah, but
I
not.
think it was like
But yes.
Earth and Metal, fighting against like something. I don't know, man.
Probably like fire or something.
Yeah, I forget. So I think
I
it
don't
was
know.
fire because towards the end with the water thing. You know what I mean? So
Maybe. But anyways, Blade Dragon, he just goes charging in recklessly. He doesn't care about anything. Um and Chobe can't help but notice the growth in his brother at this point. Like he's watching his brother argue with the other two and he's like he's never done this. He's always just followed behind me trying to do what I do. Who is this guy?
yeah, it was great. You could also argue that this scene actually showed Chobe's growth too, because like he chose to trust his brother, where in the past he would not have done that. So
Yeah, you get to see a little flashback, and it was like Toa holding onto his shirt as they were running, and then like Chobe just stops and he watches as his brother continues to run on ahead.
not scared. Like it was a really good moment. I feel like of showing like that he became his equal in his own
Yeah,
way. Like I wouldn't say equal in skill because like Chobe is I think much more powerful, but equal in
leaps and
mindset.
bounds different. Yes.
So
Yeah, no, for sure. um, and then another very important thing that happens during all of this is the beast transforms, going from an offensive standpoint to more of a defensive standpoint,
hmm
ready to strike at anything and everything within its path. And Chobe is actually formulating another plan here because it's not actually about the fighting; it's about the planning.
exactly.
Um,
It's been a lot of planning lately, Nam, in this season. So
to good extent, though, I get it.
yeah,
Um, but it starts with making sure everyone is on board, and so in order to do that, he decides to bluff Blade Dragon into helping him. And he's like, "Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like you really could help, but if you wanted to, you know." And Blade Dragon falls for it.
he's so easy, man.
He's like, "Oh, fame and glory, I'm in."
Get to kill this thing? Count me in, buddy.
And the crazy part though is that like everyone is just getting smacked around, right? Like this thing is shooting out tentacles made of energy and it's just piercing everyone. Like Blade Dragon's got 7 stab wounds in him. Toa even took a couple for Fushi. And with one last effort, Blade Dragon ends up getting just underneath and literally cleaves the beast in half. And then you have the two groups. So Chobe ends up taking out who is it?
Fuja or whatever. Fu Tao. I forget.
Jufa.
Yeah, Jufa.
Yep, he takes out Jufa, and then Toma and Fushi take out Taufa.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty
And
cool how they like held hands or whatever and was able to do their thing. That's a pretty cool like transition of power. So, but
yeah, I thought it was also really neat too how after they actually took everyone down, they actually ended up what is it? Like reverting back to their original primary plans.
yeah, how they
So
separated or whatever after they took out Taufa or whatever, like they separated, right?
no, no, how Taufa became like a peach when she died,
Oh, I didn't even
and then
notice that.
Jufa.
I didn't even notice
So
that. So
so how like Blade Dragon put the peach next to that
yeah, I
dandelion?
recall it now, and like that makes more like the last episode was called Chrysanthemum and Peach, right? And so that makes
Yep,
more sense now. I was wondering why there was a flower and the peach right there, and now I know why. So
yep. And all of this is all because like they can't generate their own um tau, right? So like they have to keep drinking the tan to end up getting it because they don't have that yin yang that people have, that humans have.
hmm
They don't have that balance, that life and loss and all of that. And there's a lot of that element that plays into it that's just missing from the overall um being of the Tencent. That's why they have to keep going for all of that stuff, so you can really use that to your advantage as well.
Mm-hmm.
um but now that those two are defeated and Chobe uses his secret weapon, which is just taking bottles that he swallowed out of his stomach,
Yeah, something like that.
um we now go to the other group, which is actually going to be what is it, Sagiri
Mm-hmm. And
and
May.
May, as they find Guifa. And Guifa was the one that was performing that ritual, right, to track down everyone and see where everyone is at.
Yeah, the little
So
Beaver cards or whatever.
yep, he's in there, and instead of fighting, right, like she attempts to attack him, and he ends up like shutting her down. So then they just talk. That is the last thing that I honestly expected to happen. And then like May is saying that Guifa is shy. That's why he's hiding behind the book.
Dude's just a nerd. He doesn't want to fight. He just wants to read his Harry Potter books, bro.
Dude, vouch. I get it. Let him read.
Save, bro. Save.
But yeah, so instead of fighting though, they talk, and Guifa is telling them all about Ryan's plans. And basically he's gonna travel to the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
The whole reason why Flowers ended up, the reason why they know about this island, all of that. They tried sending gifts to the mainland previously. The humans showed up, and they were able to harvest them for their Tao, or for their Tan,
Mm-hmm.
which then ended up leading them to, okay, we can replenish our abilities this way. What else can we do with this kind of ability?
Yeah, and this ain't the first time we've heard about this, right? Like we've heard them mention this before about how their whole goal is to, go to the mainland and take over life. You know what I mean? Convert it to create their perfect thing or whatever. So,
Yep.
but now we actually get like sources backing it up, telling us specifically what they're actually gonna do. So I thought that this was a pretty interesting end to this episode. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And also interesting too that we're finally getting to see their plan really start to take shape.
Mm-hmm.
um that being said though, last we get to see is Shion. He was the blind one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude's barely hanging on. He is on his last leg. At this point, he has actually struck down Jujin, which is the Tencent he's fighting, 215 times.
That's insane.
215 times.
That is absolutely insane. Like I'm pretty sure like they had a conversation between him and like the dragon or whatever, talking about like how many times it would probably take in order to kill it by just like killing it over and over and over and over again or whatever. And not even a dragon wanted to attempt something like this. And this man is out here doing it. And the dragon didn't even want to do it. So that
Yep.
just tells you just how big of a badass this dude is. So
The biggest, by the way,
yeah,
if you couldn't tell.
he's blind. He's so cool.
Yep. And so it's him and his little apprentice. They're both over there. And he's basically just trying to stave off his own death while taking down the Tencent in front of them.
Yeah, and staying smart and calculated, which can
Trying to.
easily go off the side of the into the ocean or whatever when you're this deep into killing something that many times. Fatigue and the brain fog and everything like that. It starts to get at you. You know what I mean? So I'm surprised that he's actually still thinking about these things. So
Same.
but
Same. No, that's some incredible endurance that this guy's got. I don't know how much longer he's gonna stay with us. I'm hoping that we get like a little thing where his apprentice steps up, right? She's able to keep it up, and he's able to actually regenerate. some energy, because that would be cool to see.
Yeah, I think we even got like a little moment where the Tenzin steps up and is like, "You're actually you're scary, dude. You're insane." You know,
What's
he's
wrong with you?
yeah,
You're insane.
yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. The
Fuck
Tenzin
yeah, I
actually
am.
recognizing Shion about how much of a badass he actually is. So, but yeah, really cool.
Yep. That's about all I've got though for Hell's Paradise. That was a pretty cool episode. We got to see the death of Taufa and Jufa.
Hmm.
And now we're also getting really, really close to getting back to seeing Rain and actually going through with their plan as well. Because if they're on their way to the mainland,
With
that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, especially with all the butterflies. Like the way they talk, like the butterflies literally just like, I guess, poke you or whatever, and like there's so many of them that like they're talking like in the blink of an eye, like the whole mainland will just be like like transformed into whatever they're wanting. You know what I mean? Which is
Yeah.
really bad. Like we're not only talking about like the things that are happening on this island, now it's going to the mainland. And so I feel like after they get done, if they get done, if they figure things out on the island right there, I feel like that they're the ones that have to like follow behind Rian and try to stop them too, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know. We're definitely not seeing that this season though, but it's
No.
gonna be a fun future. We'll say that. So, but yeah,
Yes, that's for sure. At least one more season, I feel,
yeah,
to probably like wrap it all up and then finally get the closure on everything.
yeah. It'll be fun. So, I'm assuming that's all you have though, right?
That is all I have.
Alrighty, well, that is going to be the end of our winter rundown, episode 161. We will see y'all next week for something. Not sure what yet, just yet. But we will see you. But with that being said, linktree.com/anime degens. Make sure you follow us on all the socials. Rate the podcast, give us a like and thumbs up, notifications, all that stuff on YouTube. Um, yeah,
Don't forget to wish Dan luck on his sabbatical from the podcast.
yeah. Don't forget to wish Dan happy birthday or whatever he's doing over there.
he just had his birthday 30 seconds ago. You guys missed it.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
So make sure y'all join the Discord. That way you can add him and annoy him a little bit, make him feel wanted, all that good stuff. So, but until then, we will see y'all next week. Peace.
Later.
夕日に小さな